Can I just say that Rich Karlgaard is one of my favorite people in the whole world, because he organized 15 years ago all the predictions, and if you go back and you look at what they said, they are the original source of cloud computing, mobile computing, and the architecture we use today. Rich, George Gilder, and so forth.
I am from the state of North Dakota. Raise your hand if you've heard of North Dakota, okay? It's pretty good. The companies that last for decades and decades and decades, that really impact our hearts and minds, that create the most loyal employees and the loyal customers, are ones that have a third side of and forming a triangle: the strategic base, the hard edge of execution, and what I've called in this book, the soft edge of cultural values. The soft edge, as I define it, has 5 components, and they all go to the kinds of things that you've heard throughout the day. The first one in the foundational soft edge pillar is trust. There's such an intellectual component to everything in the economy today that if you don't have people who are willing to give their best ideas to you, you just aren't going anywhere as a company, no matter how many geniuses you have on staff. If they're withholding, then you've created, it's because of lack of trust. So trust really hurts you, and I would argue that in today's intellectually driven economy, it hurts you faster and harder than ever before. He said, ultimately what it's all about in the bicycle industry is you've got to find the sweet spot between data truth and human truth. That's when a light bulb went off, and I thought, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the media industry, bicycles, design, advertising. Almost all of us in this age of big data still have to find what is that place. Where does data stop and where does human intuition begin?
In all of your research for this book, The Soft Edge, what would be the biggest business lesson that you learned that everybody here could benefit from, regardless of what size business we're in?
I'm going to go smarts,
okay?
Because it touches on what Malcolm Gladwell said this morning, that smarts isn't your IQ, smarts isn't your SAT. Smarts, in fact, is a matter of perseverance and faith and grit. What grit does in the real world is it accelerates your learning. The more you confront grit, if you make twice as many calls, you're not going to be twice as productive. You're going to be 4 or 5 times productive because you kick in the learning curve.
You're learning, exactly.
Grit triggers the learning curve. Grit is what makes you smarter, not an 800 math SAT.